My beloved child, let your heart grow still and remember this. Your true strength does not begin with what you are holding in your hands, nor is it measured by what others can see on the outside. Your strength lies in the bond of belonging between you and me. When you know that you are in the hands of the one who has called you by name, you will no longer tremble before lack, no longer panic when circumstances change, and no longer feel compelled to chase after every hurried voice of the world. Some people believe they are strong because they possess much wealth, many relationships, many opportunities, and much praise, yet without a firm foundation. All of those things can vanish like morning mist beneath the sun. But you, when you remain near me, even if there are seasons when your hands do not yet hold much, your heart still carries a source of peace that the world cannot create. For in me, you are not only strengthened, you are reminded that you have not been abandoned, not been lost, and not been defined by the difficult seasons that have passed. Therefore, do not place your final trust in storehouses, plans, talents, or the approval of people. I can use all of these things as instruments, but I do not want you to confuse the instrument with the source of life. When you seek me first, the plans in your hands will be purified from haste. The strategies you build will no longer be driven by the fear of falling behind, but guided by wisdom that knows how to wait for the right time, move in the right direction, and stop at the right place. You will not need to compete with the crowd that runs after what is new today and forgets it tomorrow. I will give you a different rhythm, slower when slowness is needed, stronger when it is time to advance, and steadier when everything around you is shaken. It is this steadfastness that will make you different, not because you are trying to appear special, but because your roots are planted deeply in me. Remember Obed-Edom, the man who welcomed the Ark of the Covenant into his house at a time when many were still hesitant and afraid. He did not seek fame, nor did he stand among the crowd to prove his importance. He simply opened his home so that the holy presence could be placed within his dwelling. And from that act of welcome, blessing spread to his household, touched everything that belonged to him, and caused others to recognize that when I am present, even an ordinary house can become a place covered by favor. Do you see? My child, what makes the difference is not the outward appearance of the house, nor the status of the one who owns it, but the presence that is honored within. In the same way, I do not need you to have everything before I work through your life. I need you to make room for me. When you allow me to be the center, the small things in your hands can be blessed. The ordinary spaces around you can become filled with life, and the days that seem quiet can begin to release the fragrance of faithfulness. Now, I want you to look back, not with regret, but so that you may recognize my hand walking with you through every turning point. There were days when you thought you were standing in darkness with no way out, yet I was quietly keeping the lamp within you from going out. There were seasons of trial that made you feel weaker than ever before, but it was precisely in those seasons that I taught you to cling to what cannot be shaken. There were times when you were rejected, and the wound made you wonder whether you lacked value, yet I used that very rejection to pull you away from a door that was not meant for you, then led you toward a path more fitting for the chapter of life I was writing. When you could not yet see the light, I was still leading you. When you did not yet understand the reason, I was still arranging things. When you thought you were being delayed, I was still preparing you for a step forward that would not only be faster, but more aligned with my purpose. So let gratitude become the breath of this new season. Do not give thanks only when everything is favorable. Learn to give thanks also for the things I held back, for the connections I loosened, for the plans I did not allow to succeed, and for the quiet spaces that taught you to hear my voice more clearly. Gratitude will keep you from bitterness when you remember the past, from pride when you enter abundance, and from forgetting the one who lifted you up. When you are grateful, you will not treat blessing as something you are automatically entitled to, but as something entrusted to you to steward with reverence. When you are grateful, you will not use your achievements to build a monument to yourself, but will use your life as a testimony of my kindness. And when you live in that spirit, your sphere of influence will be expanded in a healthy way, not through display, but through the fruit of peace, faithfulness, and love. My beloved child, what I am doing within you is not meant to create empty noise on the outside. I am not leading you into a new season so that you may amaze others for a moment and then lose your closeness with me. I am revealing to you that my promise does not fall to the ground, that my faithfulness does not change according to your emotions, and that the years you thought had been forgotten were still held within my holy manuscript. Every delay taught you patience. Every closed door taught you discernment. Every loss taught you to release what could not endure. Every time you rose again after tears, your ability to keep walking became stronger. I have gathered together all the things that once seemed scattered and turned them into the foundation of a life that is steadier, deeper, and brighter. Now you are no longer standing in the same old cycle. I have brought you out of the place where you kept striving without seeing fruit, out of the worn path that made you circle again and again through the same weariness, and out of vague seasons of waiting that left you unsure of where you were going. In this season, the light will become clearer, but you must still keep a humble heart. Doors will open, but you must still ask me before you enter. Opportunities will come, but you must still discern what has been sent by me and what is only a passing attraction. The clarity I give is not meant to make you confident in a way that separates you from me, but to help you walk with the courage of one who knows they are being led. You do not have to guess every step like someone abandoned in the darkness of night. I will place the right signs at the right time, send the right people in the right moment, open the way in the right season, and remind you to stop when what lies ahead is no longer the path I have appointed for you. Then you will see that there are things which seem deeply personal, yet I will mention them through the mouth of another. Someone in a prayer gathering may speak of an image you once saw. A friend may recount an experience similar to what you have carried in your heart for many days. A gentle reminder in an unexpected conversation may touch the very thing you had just spoken to me in secret. When that happens, do not be too quick to call it coincidence. I am the one who knows how to weave thin threads into a fabric with a clear design. What I speak to you privately, when placed beside what I speak to another, will become brighter, stronger, and less mixed with fear or self-will. You must learn to listen not only with your ears, but with a humble heart, one that knows I can use many different vessels to pour out the same stream of living water. Even so, my beloved child, unity does not mean that you must speak out everything the moment you receive it. There are seeds that must remain hidden beneath the soil for a time before they are brought into the light. There are signs I give you, not so that you may announce them immediately, but so that you may prepare, pray, observe, and wait for the appointed hour. Wisdom is not only found in recognizing what I am doing, but also in knowing when to speak, whom to speak to, and with what attitude to speak. If you rush, what was meant to build up may become noise that confuses others. If you delay because of fear, the opportunity to strengthen one person or awaken a group of people may pass by. Therefore, I will train you in the art of timing. I will teach you the calmness of a watchman, one who can see far without becoming hasty, one who knows how to keep what is holy within the heart until I open the door. Remember the story of Paul and his companions on their missionary journey. There was a time when they wanted to go in one direction, but the door did not open. They planned to enter another region, but my leading restrained them. Then, in the night, Paul received a vision of a man from Macedonia calling for help. What is worth noticing is that after receiving that sign, he did not act like a man who made himself the center of every revelation. Together with his companions, he considered the matter and recognized that this was my invitation. From that shared confirmation, they went to Philippi, and there a woman named Lydia had her heart opened. A household was touched, and a new door for the gospel was unlocked. Do you see? My child, a sign given to one person can become a pathway for many, but it must be placed within unity, discernment, and obedience. I do not only lead individuals, I also lead my people as a living body. In this season, you must also become more alert, because not every voice that appears righteous comes from me. There are outward signals that look like light but do not bring pure peace. There are words that sound powerful yet secretly sow division, pride, or fear. There are people who use the name of what is holy to push others into pressure. Instead of leading them into steadiness and love, I do not want you to become suspicious of everything. But I do want you to grow mature in testing what you hear. Place everything before the light of my word, before the fruit it produces, before the deep peace I place in the heart of the obedient, and before the confirmation of those who have been refined through many seasons of trial. What comes from me may correct you, but it will not crush you. What comes from me may awaken you, but it will not pull you into chaos. What comes from me may urge you to move forward, but it will not cause you to lose humility. Little by little, I will expand your capacity to understand. In the past, you may have looked at a sign and asked only, what does this mean for me personally? But as you grow, you will learn to ask more deeply, what is this saying to the family, to the community, and to the season in which I am moving? A reminder repeated in many circumstances may both strengthen someone who is weary, warn a group of people who need to return to the right path, and mark a shift of season that many have not yet recognized. You do not need to rush to explain every layer of meaning with your limited understanding. Let me open each layer gradually, like dawn spreading over the earth. When you do not force meaning, do not exaggerate what you have received, and do not use signs to exalt yourself. I will entrust you with greater clarity. The one who knows how to bow low will see the path that the proud overlook. There will also be connections that astonish you. I can place the same burden in the hearts of people who are far apart from one another. I can allow one person in one place to see an image, then give another person in another place a confirming reminder. And when they meet, two scattered pieces suddenly fit together into one picture. Do not limit my work by distance, language, or circumstance. My kingdom is not confined within four walls, nor is it bound by the borders that human beings have built. When I want to awaken, I can cause the same call to resound in many hearts. When I want to prepare a new season, I can place the same stirring within people who have never known one another, so that at the appointed time, they will realize that my hand had gone before them long ago. Therefore, step into unity with a tender heart. Do not isolate yourself because you fear being misunderstood. And do not rush to blend into the crowd until you lose the holy privacy between you and me. Learn how to be alone with me, and then learn how to stand with others when I call. Learn how to keep sacred mysteries, and then learn how to share when love requires it. Learn how to test things, but do not become harsh. Learn how to listen, but do not become gullible. Let every sign you receive be bathed in prayer, tested through peace, weighed with wisdom, and released with love. I am teaching you not only to see, but also to understand. Not only to understand, but also to serve, not only to serve alone, but also to help build a people who know how to walk together in the light. My beloved child, the day you realize that I am speaking to many people within the same stream, your heart will become less afraid. You will understand that you are not imagining things, not isolated, and not carrying a meaningless burden. I am placing you within a network of grace, where one person strengthens another, where what is private is illuminated by holy agreement, and where humility protects the gifts from being led astray. Remain faithful to the portion I have entrusted to you. Do not contend for another person's portion, and do not despise your own. A small stone still has its place in a great wall. A quiet prayer can still hold a doorway firm for many people. A sign you receive in silence, when offered up at the right time, can become a lamp for an entire company of people seeking the way. I am with you in the secret place, and I am also among the community when you are united in heart. Walk in that light, my child, for I am connecting, confirming, purifying, and leading you into a season of deeper understanding of my ways. My beloved child, today I want you to sit quietly in gentle stillness and listen to what I have carried in my heart for you for a very long time. There are moments that do not come merely to amaze you for an instant, but to open a new door for the entire journey ahead. What is touching your heart is not a passing emotion, nor is it a random thought drifting by and then disappearing. I have brought you to this moment through many small paths that you did not understand before. There were times when you thought you were being delayed, but in truth, I was keeping you from entering a place that was not yet meant for you. There were doors that closed and caused you pain, but those very closed doors protected you from paths that would have worn down your peace. You once asked why others moved ahead so quickly, why they seemed to receive with ease what you had to pray through across many seasons of tears. But my child, I do not write your story according to the rhythm of someone else's life. I do not measure your worth by speed, applause, or outward brilliance. I am writing a chapter of life that only you can fully live. And every line in that chapter is written with my wisdom, my mercy, and my eternal purpose. Before you realized that you were being prepared, I had already been working quietly in the deepest places of your life. The years you called wandering were not wasted. The roads you walked in, weariness. The evenings when you wondered whether all your efforts still had meaning. The times you stood before an emptiness and did not know what tomorrow would bring. All of it has been gathered by me like precious material in the hands of a skilled craftsman. You thought you were only enduring, but I was refining you. You thought you were only losing, but I was removing from you the things that could not walk with you into the new season. You thought you had been forgotten behind promises that had not yet taken shape, but I was laying a foundation where no one could see. A house that is to stand firm against strong winds must have a deep foundation. A tree that is to rise high must send its roots down into hidden soil. A person entrusted with something precious must first be trained in quiet faithfulness. Perhaps you once tried to open your life by your own strength. You worked harder, pushed yourself further, searched for wider opportunities, and placed hope in relationships you believed would support you. I do not blame you for trying. I saw every effort you made, every step you took while your heart was still trembling, every time you wiped away your tears and rose again. But I want you to understand that there are treasures that cannot be opened by hurried hands, doors that do not yield to pressure, and blessings that are released only when your heart has become tender enough to guard them in humility. What I have prepared for you is not fragile like the fading rewards of this world. It cannot be stolen by jealousy, cannot be dimmed by time, and cannot be destroyed by unexpected events. I have kept that portion within my faithfulness, and I will open it when you are not only able to receive it, but also mature enough to steward it with love, discernment, and gratitude. Remember Bezalel, the craftsman whom I called to take part in building the holy place in the wilderness. He was not a king seated upon a throne, nor a warrior renowned on the battlefield, but I placed within him skill, understanding, and hands capable of turning ordinary materials into a work prepared for the holy presence, before everyone saw the beauty of the objects used in worship. There had been years in which his skill was formed in silence, before his hands touched gold, silver, precious wood, and fine fabrics for a noble work. I had prepared him through small movements, lessons of patience, and details of precision that few people noticed. Do you see? My child, I can use even the things you consider most ordinary to prepare you for a very different chapter of life. The experiences you have learned from, the wounds you have overcome, the small responsibilities you have faithfully carried, all of them can become tools in my hand when the season opens. Do not despise what you have been through, for I know how to turn every fragment into part of the adornment of a work more beautiful than you ever imagined. Therefore, do not be afraid when I call you to step out of the old cycle. There are habits that once helped you survive in the wilderness season, but they cannot lead you into the new land. There are ways of thinking that once protected you from pain, but now they may become walls that keep you from receiving healing. There are concerns that once made you feel as though you were in control, but in truth, they only exhausted you in secret. I do not call you to let go so that you will be left empty-handed. I call you to open your hands so that you may receive what is better. When I remove an old support from you, it is because I want you to learn to stand firmly upon a foundation that cannot be shaken. When I slow down a plan, it is because I am adjusting the direction so that you do not arrive earlier than your preparation allows. When I let you pass through the refining fire, it is not to burn you to ashes, but to make the pure part within you shine, the part you yourself have not yet recognized. The new chapter of your life will not be written with the old fear. It will not be written with comparison, insecurity, or the voices of those who once failed to see the value I placed within you. I will teach you to hold the pen with me with a heart that is more peaceful. You will learn not to rush to sign your name onto stories I have not yet written. You will learn not to let yesterday's disappointment decide tomorrow's faith. You will learn to look back at the past without being bound to it. Because I will not let you enter a new season with feet still weighed down by what has already passed. What once wounded you will no longer be a chain, but a testimony of my sustaining hand. The places where you once fell will no longer define you, but will remind you that my hand has lifted you up more times than you can count. My beloved child, let me continue writing with you. Do not tear out the pages of your life simply because one passage was once filled with tears. Do not conclude that the story is over just because you have not yet seen how the new chapter will begin. I am the one who knows how to make a way where you see only a wall of rock, how to bring forth new growth where you see only dry ground, and how to call your future by name even while your present remains silent. What I have placed before you is not an empty dream, but an invitation to step into maturity, freedom, and being sent. You will no longer live merely to survive from one day to the next. You will live with the awareness that every guided step, every skill being refined, every relationship being purified, and every trial overcome is contributing to a greater picture. Bring me the pages still left open, the sentences still unfinished, and the blank spaces you do not know how to fill. I will not write for you as though you have no meaning. I will write with you as a father holding your hand, teaching you each stroke, reminding you of each line, and breathing into the story of your life a beauty that only my grace can complete. My beloved child, when I bring you into a new land, I do not only change the scenery around you, I also lift you into a deeper level of understanding, where you no longer live by hurried reactions or allow temporary emotions to guide every decision. The new things I place before you will be beautiful, but they will also require you to grow in the way you discern people. Choose companions, guard what is precious, and steward the opportunities entrusted to you. There are doors you once longed to see opened, but if they had opened too soon, you might have brought into your life voices that distracted you, hands that did not build, and advice that seemed good, yet quietly pulled you away from the path I had appointed. Therefore, do not grieve over the times when I held you back. Do not complain about the moments when I placed a fence around you. Sometimes, my protection does not appear as a dazzling miracle, but comes through a relationship being separated, a plan being delayed, a closeness suddenly becoming distant, or a door you knocked on many times that still did not open. I did not do this to make you lonely. I did it to keep you from stepping into a place where there was no true life for you. Remember the story of Abigail, a wise woman in the midst of a dangerous situation. She lived in a household marked by hardness of heart and lack of discernment. Yet she did not allow the foolishness around her to determine her response. When she saw that disaster could come because of her husband's arrogant words, she did not stand still in fear, nor did she add fuel to anger. She prepared a gift, went out to meet David with a humble attitude, and through words that were gentle yet wise, she prevented blood from being shed unnecessarily. Do you see? My child, wisdom is not always loud. Sometimes it is the ability to step out at the right time, speak the right words, keep a household from destruction, and stop a person with power from making a mistake in the heat of anger. I want you to learn from that story. Not everyone near you knows how to protect what I have placed within you. But if you listen to my guidance, you can become a keeper of the gate of peace, one who knows how to stop destruction before it spreads, one who does not allow chaotic circumstances to steal the purity of the heart. What I am preparing for you is not merely a portion of blessing for you to enjoy in a brief season. I am setting before you a work that reaches beyond your present lifetime, a mark that can touch those who come after you. You once thought that what you received was only meant to meet today's need, heal yesterday's wound, or open a way of escape for yourself. But I see farther than what you see. I see the children who will learn how to trust through your story. I see the young people who will stand more firmly because they once witnessed you refusing to give up. I see family, community, and those placed near you finding a stronger foundation because of the faithfulness you chose in the days when no one applauded. Therefore, do not underestimate the way you live in the small things. One upright decision today can become a lesson for a generation tomorrow. One act of forgiveness you choose through tears can break a cycle of bitterness that has lasted for many years. One habit of seeking me each day can become a cool well from which those after you may drink when they are dry. I do not want you to leave behind only possessions that can be counted by numbers. I want you to leave behind the fragrance of faith, the pattern of obedience, and the footsteps of one who knows how to return to me through every rise and fall. Material things can support life, but they cannot replace holy reverence. Achievements can draw people's attention, but only faithfulness can become a lasting foundation. Reputation may come and go, but a life placed in my hands will continue to speak, even when you no longer lift your voice. Therefore, when I give you more, do not only ask what you will receive, ask what you will build, what you will sow, what you will pass on, and what you will protect. The new season is not a stage for you to prove that you are greater than anyone else, but a garden where you may sow what is good with humble hands. If you know how to steward abundance with gratitude, that abundance will not turn you into someone distant from me, but will make you a source of blessing for many. The more you are entrusted with, the more you need to remain close to me. This is what I want you to remember carefully. Lack may cause you to cry out, but abundance can also cause you to fall asleep if you are not watchful. When there is little on your table, it is easy for you to recognize that you need me. But when the storehouse becomes fuller, when the doors open wider, when more people call your name, and when the things you once prayed for begin to take shape, you must guard your heart with even greater tenderness. Do not let the blessing take the place of the one who gives the blessing. Do not let the work I have entrusted to you make you forget to sit with me. Do not let the busyness of the harvest season cause you to lose the stillness that once nourished you in the season of sowing. I rejoice when you step into what is good, but I do not want that good thing to become a burden or an idol in your heart. Every beautiful thing is preserved only when it remains in my order. Every increase bears lasting fruit only when the roots remain deeply planted in my presence. Therefore, walk slowly enough to hear, yet strongly enough to obey. Be watchful in your thoughts, open in your heart, and ready in your hands. When I tell you to give, do not hold back because you fear lack. When I tell you to keep something, do not give it away merely to please others. When I tell you to move forward, do not let the memory of failure hold your feet back. When I tell you to stop, do not let ambition push you beyond the boundary of safety. Every step in this new season carries weight, because you are no longer living only for the needs immediately before you. I am placing your life within a greater stream, where your obedience today can open a path of peace for someone else tomorrow. Let me adjust the rhythm of your steps, purify the relationships around you, restore order to your priorities, and teach you how to steward what is precious without losing your first simplicity. My child, be ready but do not be hasty. Be expectant but do not be proud. Receive but do not hold with a closed hand. I am continuing to write the chapter of your life with faithfulness that does not change. What I have promised will not be delayed by human opposition, erased by mistakes that have been brought into the light, or stolen by voices of doubt. Your part is to remain in me. Listen to me, walk with me, and allow gratitude to keep you from losing your way. I will show you who is meant to walk with you, who must be loved from a distance, what must be sown, what must be protected, what must be released, and what must be lifted up. And when you live this way, you will not only see blessing pass through your life, you will become a sign of my kindness to those who come after you. Hold the pen with me, my beloved child, for this new chapter is not only about how you are lifted up, but also about how I use your life to build a foundation of peace, endurance, and light for many generations.